Let's look at try it. One thing I wanted to point out to you guys, and I didn't do a good job there, is how do you know whether to multiply or whether to divide to find your hidden pattern? And if your pattern gets bigger, if it grows, it's a multiplier. If your pattern goes backwards like the last one did, we're looking for the number we divided by. Okay. Rosita used 8 cups of tomatoes and 3 cups of onions. So we have an 8-to-3 ratio. How many cups of onions? So again, I'm going to put tomatoes over onions. How many cups of onions should Rashida, if I'm saying that wrong, or I'm sorry, use if she used only 4 cups of tomatoes? So again, it's getting smaller, right? So do we have a multiplier here, or are we looking for a divider? All right. So I've already done the fraction one pretty much, so that's where I'm going to start. So I've got 8/3 equals what number, or 4 over what number? So what did we do to 8 to turn it into 4? We divided it by 2. So what are we going to do to 3? We're going to divide it by 2. And this is unique. What is 3 divided by 2? It's actually a decimal, 1.5. So does this make sense? Can I have 1.5 cups? Well, if you've done any cooking or baking, obviously we can do 1.5 cups. So that's what we're going to end up doing. How would I do this in the tape measurement? Okay, so what we have, this one's a little bit harder to draw out, but we're going to try. Okay, so I cut it in half again, and those in half. That gives me 4. Now I've got 8 boxes to my 3. So this is why sometimes tape isn't great, because we have lots of boxes. So I've got 8-to-3 ratio. I know that the onions are going to equal, or sorry, the tomatoes are going to equal 4. So this needs to equal 4. Obviously, I can't count by one and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and think this is going to equal 4, right? So what this means is that each and every one of these boxes, I'm going to pick a different color, otherwise I think it's going to get confusing. Each of these boxes equal a half. So when I get halfway, now I'm at 2, and then when I fill in the rest of these, 2 plus 2 will give me a total of 4. So that means down here, again, this was my tomatoes, and then this is my onions. So I have a half plus a half plus a half, and that equals 1.5 cups of onions. Okay, we could do this with our table, tomatoes to onions. Okay, we had 8 tomatoes to 3 onions, and then we turn this into 4 tomatoes to what number of onions? So just look for the pattern. What did we do to 8 to turn it into 4? We divided by 2, then take 3 and divide it by 2 as well. If we don't remember how to do that, we're doing 3 divided by 2. So we're doing long division. 3 goes inside, 2 goes here. How many 2's go into 3? 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So we subtract that out. 3 minus 2 is 1. And we're going to have to insert a decimal and bring down an imaginary 0, right? So we bring down a 0. How many 2's go into 10? 5 of them. 2 times 5 is exactly 10, and we get 0 as a remainder. So that's how we get to our 1.5 solution.